Welcome back again to the new learning video. So, if you're using Amazon S3 to store your content, you probably hit that classic question: how do I get all that stuff to my users around the world fast without leaving my data totally exposed? Well, in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to do just that. Here's what we've got on cap. We're going to start by looking at the core challenge of just using S3 by itself. Then, we'll bring in our hero of the day, CloudFront. After that, we'll dive into how it cranks up performance, and this is the big one, how it locks your S3 buckets down tight to keep them secure. By the end, you'll have a super clear blueprint for your own projects. Look, we all know Amazon S3 is an absolute beast for storage. It's reliable, it's cheap, it's amazing. But what happens when you need to get that content into the hands of a global audience? That's where things get kind of tricky, and we run into some pretty major hurdles. This is really the heart of the problem, right? How do you guarantee top-notch speed and rock-solid safety for users in Tokyo, London, and Sao Paulo, all at the exact same time? This slide just lays it all out. It's like night and day. On one side, you've got the before picture. You're making a user in Asia wait to fetch data all the way from a server in, say, North America. That means slow, frustrating load times. And even worse, you're often tempted to just make your bucket public, which is basically leaving your front door wide open. But the after picture, with the CDN, it's a total game changer. You get blazing speed everywhere and a system that's securely locked down. So how do we get from that slow, insecure before state to that awesome, fast, lockdown after state? Well, the answer is Amazon's purpose-built solution, CloudFront. So what is CloudFront really? It's not just some server sitting somewhere. No, it's a massive global network of over 400 interconnected data centers, all strategically placed around the world. And they all exist for one reason: to get your content to your users at lightning speed. Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. Your S3 bucket, that's the main factory where all your content lives. But you wouldn't ship every single package from that one central factory, would you? Of course not. Instead, you'd send your stuff out to local warehouses. That way, users get their content from a spot right around the corner, not from a factory halfway across the globe. So let's dig into the specifics of how this whole warehouse network thing really puts the pedal to the metal on your application's performance. Now, this table might look a little technical, but trust me, each of these things directly makes your user's day better. Edge caching? That's why your user in Australia gets your video almost instantly. HTTP/3? That's what makes your pages feel so snappy and responsive. Content compression means your site uses less of their mobile data, and scalability means that even if you go viral overnight, your site won't crash, it just works. And here's the best part. Not only do your users get a way better experience, but you actually end up saving money. Data transfer out of CloudFront is often cheaper than pulling it straight from S3. So you get a faster, tougher, and more cost-effective setup. It's a win-win-win. Okay, speed is awesome, but that's only half the story. CloudFront also wraps your S3 content in some really critical layers of security. This is the golden rule. Seriously, if you take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this: once you have CloudFront set up, your S3 bucket should never, ever be public again. Period. So how do we actually do this? Well, first, we build a digital wall around our S3 bucket. The only way through this wall is with a special secret key, and we only give that key to CloudFront. This system is called Origin Access Control, or OAC for short. It creates a completely private tunnel, totally blocking the public internet from ever touching your files directly. Okay, next up, we control who can even ask CloudFront for the content in the first place. With things like signed URLs or cookies, you can generate these unique temporary links for your users. This is perfect for stuff like a subscription video service or maybe for private software downloads. You get total control over who sees what and for how long. And finally, we put a security guard at the front door. We can plug in the AWS Web Application Firewall to block common nasty attacks, use AWS Shield to protect against those massive denial-of-service attacks, and of course, enforce HTTPS to make sure all the traffic is encrypted from end to end. All right, let's put all the pieces together. Let's actually visualize how a user request flows through this super secure and scalable setup. So the request first hits that local warehouse. If the content is already cached there, which a lot of the time it will be, it's sent back to the user in just milliseconds. That's how you get that instant, snappy response. Now, if the content isn't cached locally, this is where the magic happens. CloudFront uses its secure private connection, that OAC we talked about, to go back to the main S3 factory and grab the file. The key thing here is that the end user never talks to S3 directly, ever. And these are pretty much the high-level steps you'd follow in the AWS console to bring this blueprint to life. It all starts with making your S3 bucket private, and it ends with a secure, high-performance CloudFront URL that you can share with the world. So let's just quickly boil this all down and summarize the incredibly powerful combo of S3 and CloudFront. The main takeaway here is that you don't have to compromise. With CloudFront and S3, you're not stuck choosing between speed or security or cost. You actually get all three. You get world-class performance, you protect your valuable assets with multiple layers of security, and you can even lower your data transfer costs in the process. By leveraging CloudFront, you've essentially built a professional-grade global delivery pipeline. It really opens up all kinds of possibilities for serving richer media, expanding into new regions, and building way more resilient applications. Thank you so much for watching this explainer. If you found this useful, please do let us know what you think in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into cloud technology.